Following the request of the Aryas of Qadian to receive a sign from the promised Messiah, the promised Messiah went and prayed, and he received the revelation about the Hazrat Muslim anhu. Now the question is that what is the special relation that the Hazrat Muslim anhu has with the Hindus? Why the Hindus and not anybody else?
It was initiated by them. What does it mean by the Hindus?
What is the special relationship that the Hazrat Muslim in particular has with Hindus, seeing as it was their request?
He doesn't have any particular relationship with Hindus at all. The point is that it was a Hindu Arya who challenged Hazrat Muslim to a duel of spirituality and prayers before God. So it's so happened that Hazrat Muslim, when he prayed, he was given the glad tidings about a son's birth, and that son was born 3 years after this prayer, while Lekhram, who had challenged him, he had made a counter prophecy. He said, nothing will be born, not even a rat, and if anything is born, he will die before you. And he said used some very filthy words, which I don't want to quote, but this strange doing by Allah, that he lived for 3 more years to see that son grow into a grown-up child and healthy child, a very intelligent child, and Lekhram couldn't do anything. And 3 years after him, he, according to the prophecy of Muslim, was killed as Muslim had foretold in the vision, by the knife of a person who had got converted to Aryaism, and he was so close to Lekhram that he used to live in his house for a long time. He remained there, and exactly on the day when Muslim had predicted that he would die, it was the day close to Eid, and it was a Jummah. So he got stabbed by the same person in a manner that he cried loud, and the wife ran hearing the shouts, and he went on the floor, on the top floor, on the roof of the house, and if he had jumped outside, he would have been died instantaneously and broken to pieces, but he didn't. He was not found. They went below, people hearing the cry of the wife. Also, the whole street is that of Hindu Aryas. They also rushed upwards, and they didn't see any person walking out or going up either, and they went to the back of the house and there was nobody, no sign. So it was so amazing that they could not do anything about it, and he went to, this incident, although he was Peshawari, but this incident was took place in Lahore, and there is an Arya street in Lahore where all this happened. Now, when he was being operated upon, it was an English doctor who did it.
Yes, perhaps.
But his assistant was an Ahmadi, and a Mirza Sahib for that matter. So whenever he asked him for something, Mirza Sahib, this man shuddered. because he thought perhaps it's the same Messiah who is coming again. And his stitches opened because of that. He shuddered so much under the shock that his stitches opened, and they switched him again and again until he died in this miserable state. The Aryas raised great hue and cry, but could not name any criminal, any person as a criminal, because there was no sign of any person. So a case against Muslim could not be registered, although they wrote that he must have done it. But suddenly an English superintendent of police raided Hazrat Muslim's house in search of papers, any sign of his having appointed anybody. But no such sign was found, not a semblance of a sign. And where was he? Who was he? Nobody knows. If he had come to Qadian, people should have known him, where he was trained by Muslim, but according to the investigation, nobody had seen this person or his description ever in Qadian. So still it is a mystery. So this is the sign of Lekhram which Muslim showed, and sign of Muslim Moud is attached to the birth of this child. Pardon me, I have to add something to it. The questioner asked if this child had any contact with the Hindus in future in a manner that this prophecy could be related to him. I said, perhaps I don't know, but now I have remembered. He came into contact particularly with Aryas and defeated them so completely that it became a sign in itself. There was a movement of Sudhi in Rajputana where the Aryas, it was particularly Aryas, who were converting back to Hinduism some old converts to Islam. And villages after villages were converted back to Islam, back to Hinduism. And they were Aryas. So Muslim, when he heard of this, he made an appeal for volunteers, and every volunteer was told to go on his own, his fare, etc. should be paid by him himself, and nothing will be given. If they can carry food, well and good, but they are not permitted to eat food if offered there by these villages to whom they are going to preach. So they should manage for themselves whatever they want. So a great number of very educated Ahmadis, Sheikh Muhammad Saab of Faisalabad was also one of those. They went there, and with their preaching and their sacrifices, the people became Muslims again, converted back from Hinduism to Islam, and it created such roar in India that they couldn't do anything. So they asked the government to interfere, and the Viceroy managed a conference, Hindu-Muslim conference in Delhi, so that they can resolve this issue. Now, Ahmadis were not invited because of Muslim influence, of the overwhelming influence of Muslim population, and the Aryas boycotted that. He said, we are not afraid of these. The real culprits are Ahmadis. So unless they are invited, this conference will not come to any fruition. So a telegram was sent to Khalid, so please come and join the conference, or there will be no conference. So there, again he took such a plea that they were nonplussed and they couldn't do anything about it. So he got all of these territories which had been lost to the enemy back to Islam. And there again he had this policy that don't bring the question of Ahmadiyyat there, because then they will say that they are doing it for the sake of spreading Ahmadiyyat. Just tell them to come back to Islam, that's all. And because the Ahmadis were doing it, so naturally they also became Ahmadis at the same time. But not because it was a precondition.